excited to open today's vodcast. We have a very special guest, Dr. Vern Lindquist, who is the president of Johnston Community College in North Carolina. And we also have Dave Sherwood, who is the founder and CEO of Bibliu. On that note, I'm going to give it to Dave.
Great. Thank you, Mila. Great to be here again, Vern. It feels like not too long ago we were sitting together in North Carolina eating some delicious food. So to kick things off today, it'd be helpful if you could tell the listeners a bit more about Johnston Community College and the strategy that you're bringing in. Obviously, you're very new to the college there, and we're just excited to hear a bit more about what role the college plays in the community and what your strategy is.
Sure, happy to talk to you today about that. Johnston Community College is the only college in our county, the only college in the service area. So we are the on-ramp for higher education in our service area. We are close to Raleigh, but the county itself really is divided by a major highway, I-95. So one side of the county is kind of suburban and is experiencing a lot of growth, and the other side of the county is not and is more challenged economically. So we have a dual role. We really are engaged in workforce development. We're really very heavily integrated into some projects with some very large employers, but we also are very involved in the local high schools and in some very small communities, making sure that they have access to higher education. I've only been here since January, so we've got a lot of projects that we're beginning. All of them, though, are focused on making sure that we're doing our very best for the students who come to us.
Great. Really interesting. Really interesting thoughts there, Vern. In terms of how it differs from your previous institution in Illinois, it'd be interesting to hear a bit about that in terms of maybe some of the state dynamics or the demographics, or maybe kind of where the institution was in terms of its strategy and how it was faring. So it'd be interesting to hear a bit of a comparison as well.
The institution I was at in Illinois, Lincoln Community College, about the same size. Johnston may be a little bigger now, but they're pretty close in size. Had a very large service area. We had in Illinois almost 4,000 square miles of service area, and we dealt with about 30 feeder high schools. Most of those were very rural, so it was a very difficult service area to do a good job with. Although we did an excellent job, I think. There weren't any particularly large industries in Springfield. There were a number of smaller employers, but we didn't have any major industry that was located there. So you would say, our college really needs to make sure that it does a good job with this kind of employer, that kind of employer. We had a lot of little things, but nothing really big. The biggest employers in Springfield, because it's the state capital, were employers that dealt with the state government. So that kind of limited what we were able to do in that area. Johnston County is very different. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the state of North Carolina, and among the fastest growing percentage-wise in the country. And we've got some very big employers here. Caterpillar has a location here. Novo Nordisk is located here, and Grifols is located here. The final two are biopharmaceutical companies. Both of them are very large employers. They're expanding really greatly, perhaps even more quickly than the population of the county. So one of the things we need to be able to do is to ensure that the programs we're offering are helping students to see the jobs that are in the county, so that they stay in the county and do the work. If you watch, the highways coming in and out of Johnston County, at 6 o'clock, the traffic coming into the county is just astounding. And what that really means is that a lot of people are leaving and working in Wake County. We just need them to stop that. Where there are so many open jobs right now at the industries I've mentioned, but also at UNC Johnston, the big healthcare provider in the county, is really needing more employers as well. So I would say that we've got a more focused role here as far as workforce development goes. We really do need to make sure that we are giving the large employers as many of the frontline workers as they can get, and also doing developmental work with their current employees to make sure that they can scale up into higher level jobs.
Fascinating kind of set of employers there, and also just kind of the demographic shift of many people moving to North Carolina, and really interesting that you're one of the fastest growing in North Carolina, which, as you say, that sort of makes you one of the fastest growing in the country. And if we look at maybe Novo Nordisk, and it specifically, obviously they've had this new drug Wegovy, which is a massive hit, and apparently the Danish GDP, they're a Danish company headquartered, is being significantly driven by that drug and its development at the moment, and they're finding it really difficult to scale up the production. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how programs at Johnston Community College tie in with them as an employer, given they're such a currently relevant hot topic in the news, I think.
Well, one of the reasons why they're going to be able to scale up to the level that they're going to be able to do so far, and I know that they're looking to increase things as well, the capacities everywhere, is that many years ago, the county government partnered with both Novo and with Grifols to fund a workforce development center. I have an entire offshoot of my campus which is dedicated to biopharmaceutical training. They continue to fund it every year, so the budget for that facility is shared by the large employers and the county. And there's not a chance that a college of my size would be able to afford the things I need for that building to function without their partnership. So it is. You hear about public-private partnerships all the time. This is maybe the best example of one of those that I've ever seen. The employers really step up to make sure that we have exactly what we need. So they use a program called Delta V, which I'd never heard of before. But that's how you run a very complicated production facility. To buy that, so to train students on, would just be out of the reach of our college. But we're able to buy it and give our students real world training on the absolute same system they're going to use when they get a job at Novo because of this partnership. So one of the reasons why the county is growing is not just because it's close to Raleigh and Raleigh's full. It's because years ago they did a lot of groundwork, which is now, I think, paying off very well for us.
A really powerful success story, I think, and something a lot of other colleges and districts would be very interested to learn more about. And in terms of maybe a more broad question, but a similar one, what do you think maybe other states have to learn from North Carolina in terms of being such a hot spot for attracting people and a growing economy right now?
One of the great things is if the Northeast could have a little less snow and ice, that would probably help them. We have an awful lot of people moving here from I'm from Illinois. People move here from Chicago. They move here from Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. Barring their ability to do that, though, I think it's easy to say, well, they've got a competitive advantage because they've done all these things, and we're kind of late to the party. It is true that the best time to plant a tree is 100 years ago, but the second best time is today. So what they really need to do is to just sit down and do the hard work and say, okay, we need to make the investment. We need to do it now. and to be patient. The investment that the county made in Johnston many years ago didn't really pay off immediately, but boy, they're glad they did it now. The county is doing very well financially and is able to support. I'm happy to say they're able to support the community college fully. When I make a budget request, I get everything I ask for. Not many of my compatriots, even in North Carolina, are able to say that.
It's really seems to be a place that everybody's sort of talking about as a place to move to. Maybe Mila, an option for you one day. Mila's also in Illinois for the listeners. So in terms of the next question, well, firstly, congratulations. The Chronicle of Higher Ed have written about your enrollments and the fact that they've been record breaking this fall. And I must say, I'm not surprised knowing you and knowing Johnston College. I think, if anything, it's almost expected, but still a massive achievement. And we're curious to understand a bit more about the path that yourself and the college have taken to get here, and what the primary drivers of enrollment are, and perhaps again what other presidents listening in might be able to learn from this path as well.
Well, I told my mother that it's not my personal magnetism. It's not that. There's not a secret sauce. There's not one particular thing that we've done, I think, that helped us here. I mean, one of them is just we're in a very good place right now at the right time. The demographics are in our favor in some places in North Carolina, and we're one of those places. So that certainly is at least part of it. The other thing, though, and this goes back to the foresight of the county government. We were starting a program called the Johnston County Commissioner's Promise, which means that any of the local high school students who graduates from a local high school or is homeschooled but is a county resident can come to Johnston County Community College tuition free for 4 semesters, which means that especially if they've come here already as an early college student, they can leave here with the first 2 years of a 4-year degree, or if they're into one of the shorter term workforce related programs, they can leave within a year and really be debt free. So that helped tremendously. We started that program last year, but with a lot of more directed marketing this year, we increased the size of that program by 250%.
Wow! So
that was I think pretty integral. So a lot of the thanks for this goes to the support of the county commissioners, but also our marketing team just did an excellent job making sure that the students, potential students, understood what was perhaps one of the best deals they're going to get in their lives. So that certainly helps. We're partnering with an ed tech firm that helps to track our stop outs. So folks that used to be students and then for some reason that we don't quite understand aren't answering our emails or texts anymore. They figured out how to reach out to them, and we've been able to convert some of those students to come back to us. So that's helped. A final thing is that we just found some of our own internal processes that we're getting in our own way. There's a certain point at every college where you say to a student, well, if you haven't paid your bill, we're going to unenroll you from your classes. I looked at the size of that list in August, and I said, we are not going to unenroll all of these students. Instead, what we're going to do is, we're going to hit the telephones, get on the text, get on the emails, reach out to these students. We got some professors and some staff to come in, and we really worked that list pretty hard. And we got it down, I think it was over 300. We got it down to about 50. So that helped too. Really, if there's a common thread in all of this, it's just customer service, changing the way we think about what we're doing. We exist here to help our students be successful. So we need to do everything we can to understand where they are and what they need from us to continue. It's
really a positive story, particularly we often see in the news in Inside Higher Ed or the Chronicle or Education Dive, institutions having enrollment decline or financial issues and whatnot, and it's really, really positive to hear how you've been able to drive things in the opposite direction and learn a bit about that. I'm curious to know as well. I mean, I'm sure, I suspect that there's certain programs that maybe haven't grown or maybe have declined even. So interested to hear within this kind of broad, massive success story, maybe some of the things that didn't work or things that you do differently next fall.
I'm happy to say that there's nothing that we're doing that's absolutely failing, which it was kind of great news. Obviously we have some programs that we need to retool. There were some that had smaller enrollments than we wanted, but most of the time when we looked into them, what we found is that we're just not doing a good enough job recruiting in that particular area, or we weren't able to offer the courses and the modalities and at the times and places that students needed them. So we were pretty intentional about trying to change that, and we did a good job. So I think one of the reasons why enrollment is up is also we've decided that we're not just going to offer classes and hope students show up, but we do a lot of work analyzing the data, trying to figure out when the students and where the students need the classes, and to make sure that those are the classes that they get. And my department chairs and my vice presidents are really quite good at making sure that happens. So, I mean, oddly, I'm going to be in the position of having to hire faculty mid-year because I have so many classes right now that in some programs I'm turning students away, and I can't do that. So if I turn them away, they're not coming back next semester. So we need to get them in classes. So I'm going to be hiring. So I don't know if either of you can weld or do HVAC systems, but if you can, I will be happy to talk to you.
Unfortunately not. I did grow up on a farm, so I can be handy at certain things, but welding's not one of them. Vern, it's been really great to catch up today. Looking forward to seeing you soon. I'll hopefully be out there before too long, so I will let you know when that happens.
Okay, super. We'll hook you up with some barbecue.
That would be great. I love a bit of barbecue. Thanks, Vern. All right.